everyone, to SBR Forum and the SBR YouTube page for Big Men on Campus. I am the Big Man on Campus, giving you a preview here of the Daytona 500 and also telling you about an interesting and fun fantasy league that you can join now through SBRforum.com. I provided the link in the description box. You can join anytime. It's a fantasy league where you can join other SBR Forum members, including myself. Fantasy league. You get 5 drivers a week. It's a pretty fun way of having some fun during the season. You get weekly prizes and all sorts of goodies. So check the contest link. Head on over. Join now. It's run through another website, but it's an awesome way to have some interest and keep interest in NASCAR as the season goes on. And I'm sure you're thinking, wow, I didn't know Big Men on Campus did NASCAR. But, a couple years ago, I really started to get into betting on it. It's a fun, really monetarily savvy way to make money throughout the summer and the spring months. And I started getting into it and I started hitting some nice underdogs. And I thought, you know what? I'm sure there's a way to cap this. I started capping it, and it's a fun way. It really is a fun way to, there's no juice involved. You're laying plus money prices. You're laying really good plus money prices. I will say this, if you're down, like if you're a weekly bettor and you're down, it's probably not something to guarantee wins or anything, but it's a great way to kind of supplant the rest of your bankroll and have some fun betting on races during the summer months. Obviously, the big one coming up this week is the Daytona 500, the start of the season, and you're going to hear a lot of things throughout the next 5 or 10 minutes. So what I'll do here, I'll basically highlight a little bit about the race, a little bit about what's going on, who's on the pole, and I'll give you a couple guys that I'm going to be personally betting on for the win this weekend at the Big Time Super Speedway down in Daytona, Florida. First of all, you're hearing the words restrictor plate racing a lot this week. And for anyone that's not really keen on NASCAR, they don't know a ton about it, a restrictor plate is basically a race mandated by NASCAR where there are 2 different super speedways, Daytona and Talladega, where obviously they're, you can go very fast on them, and there were a lot of wrecks happening. There still are. So they basically instituted a restrictor plate race. Basically, restrictor plate is a square plate with 4 holes in it that basically reduce the flow of air and fuel to the engine's combustion chamber through the carburetor and intake manifold. So basically, it goes in the middle to cut down on your horsepower and speed. So you can only go a certain mile per hour and you can't go above it. It allows, aerodynamics, and being that close, they were going so fast that there were just way too many. So they had to indicate and mandate some way to clear that. And there were too many wrecks, too many pack wrecks, spawning multiple car wrecks. So they instituted this, and it's helped the that issue. Now, there are drivers that are really good with this, and that's one of the things you have to really look for when you're dealing with Daytona. What drivers are good in restrictor plate races? Dale Earnhardt Jr. was a great restrictor plate racer. Jimmy Johnson's a good restrictor plate racer. Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, all the really great drivers are good at restrictor plate. Some of the newer guys, some of the guys that don't race on an everyday level, they're not so good. But you have to make sure you understand what a restrictor plate is and the tracks that you have them on. Let me get into, obviously, some of the ones and the drivers that I'm on here. I'm going to go 3 drivers. I'll give you 3 different ones, 3 guys that I'm on here. Keep in mind, guys, the Ford cars have won 8 straight restrictor plate races. So I'm going to have a couple drivers here that drive Fords just because they've been so good to me at the restrictor plate racetracks. Alex Bowman on the pole, a kid that is taking place of Dale Earnhardt this year. A lot of promise. A lot of people are excited about Alex Bowman. A lot of people excited in Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, even William Bryan. A lot of people are excited in those guys. But I'm not generally a guy that likes to bet the racer on the pole. It's a lot of pressure. Obviously, with a young kid here, it's a super amount of pressure. A lot of shoes to fill here. Obviously, having the Earnhardt name kind of near you. Let's start it out. My first guy I'm going to go with Brad Keselowski at 7-1. All these odds are bet online current odds. I'm going to go Keselowski 7-1. To me, he's the favorite in this race. He is the favorite. You look at his success at restrictor plate races. He has 6 restrictor plate wins in his career, 10 top fives. And he's just been so dominant at these racetracks. And he always has a fast car. He's always willing to mix it up. He's one of the best racers in the sport. And he's the guy for me where you don't overthink NASCAR. A lot of the time, you just go with what drivers are good at tracks. He has been much better at Talladega, which is important to mention, but he's won at Daytona. He has the ability. He's going to be in the top 5. I think he's definitely got to be the favorite. He does a great job at the restrictor plate tracks. Give me Brad Keselowski as my first bet. I'm going to go with a young gun here. I'm going to go Chase Elliott at 10-1. Again, bet online odds. I like Chase Elliott. Obviously, he has great bloodlines. He's an aggressive driver, which I respect. You got to go with aggressive guys. You can't deal with these guys that fart around and you don't want to take shots. You got to take chances. And I'll tell you what, I think it's an important thing to mention this year in NASCAR, a big change, a technicality, if you will. They're changing NASCAR. There's a lot of things that have changed. One big one this year, and why I love Chase Elliott in this race, NASCAR actually instituted a technicality this year where fewer pit members can come over the wall to work on a car. So obviously that's going to cut down on precision, speed, productivity during these 12 to 15-second pit stops. And you're going to have mistakes. And if you know anything about NASCAR, the pit stops are huge late in races. It can decide a winning or a loser. Pit teams are everything to the driver. And you look at Gustafson, Alan Gustafson's crew, and him as the spotters, everything they do there. In the last like 10 restrictor plate races, Gustafson's done an unbelievable job. I mean, his pit crews are fantastic. The 24 car has been fantastic. Was fantastic at these super speedways. I don't have any reason to think Chase Elliott won't have success here either. He led with 3 laps last year to go in this race. I think he's going to be right up there, and I think the pit crew is going to provide important in this race. He's going to have one of the better ones, and he's got a great car. This car is really fast. There's always power under the hood, and this team knows how to build a car. Give me Chase Elliott 10-1. Really like him as well. He's starting 10th in this race, right exactly where you kind of want to be. I'll go one more. I'll go a real long shot. This is definitely a guy that, I'm taking a shot with. But, in NASCAR, I always like to take a driver in the 15-20-1 range that I think can hypothetically win. I'm going to go with Kurt Busch at 20-1. Obviously, Kurt Busch, a Ford driver from Stewart-Haas. He has one win. He won last year at Daytona. He has 13 top 5 finishes at Daytona. One of the better Daytona drivers in the field. I think he has real value at 20-1. Obviously, you consider his brother Kyle at 10-1, but I just like Chase Elliott a little bit more at that price range. And for me, you look at these 20-1 drivers, Clint Bowyer, Paul Menard, your pole leader up at 33-1. Even like a Ricky Stenhouse always has a good car at this track. But I like Kurt Busch's pedigree. He's an experienced driver. He's a veteran. He knows this track. He knows how to navigate it. And look, he's a safe driver generally. We always have to worry about the big one at this track, but overall, I think we have 3 drivers here that I really like. I'll go Brad Keselowski 7-1, Chase Elliott 10-1, and I'll go Kurt Busch at 20-1. Everyone have a great day. Hope you enjoyed this NASCAR Daytona 500 preview. I'll be back every week previewing the race that said week. We'll be also obviously joining the SBR Fantasy League. Click on the link in the comment box. It'll take you right to the page on SBR Forum explaining this awesome fantasy league. Join now. Looks like a lot of great people are heading in. Make sure you don't miss it either. Daytona 500 coming up Sunday in Daytona Beach. Everyone have a great night. As always, I'm the Big Man on Campus. For more, check out everything I do at SBR and all the great content at sbrpicks.com.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.